So basically, what we're looking at today is what we've seen in the market in terms of creative pitching. In our opinion, presentation of physical materials at the pitch stage is still very important, and we've really seen our client base push to get a competitive edge over their competitors by trying to create a really nice finished piece that has something about it which is memorable and a creative flair to it.
This was a sketch that was done by the customer. Basically, they wanted a box to hold hard case brochure and also a video screen. We've done something similar in the past, which is this one here, so that we knew that obviously it works, but obviously the video needs to be moved and the sizes needs to be changed compared to what we're putting inside it. So we did some sketches of how it's going to look, and the final one, which is on the next slide, this is basically what we've come up with in the end. When you take the lid off the box, there's actually a magnet in there, so the video starts playing and goes to a menu screen. And behind the books was going to be foam to hold the books in place. This is a box we've done. This is a pigment foil, and basically what we did was we foiled on the orange, and then afterwards we foiled again on the white. Another one we've done here. This is for Burberry, and this has got an emboss to it, so we foiled it first and then embossed it, but we can also do debossing as well where it goes inwards.
This one, we knew we were going to be using different material for the job. We tend to work a lot with Winter & Co, who are a very good supplier to us in terms of all these different types of materials. They're all designed for packaging, so we know they will foil very nicely, they wrap very nicely, and there's a wide range from sort of paper right the way through plastic, real leather, metallic effects, and really these are really our bread and butter supply for wrapping and packaging and book covers. This one was printed only. This was CMYK. Again, this customer wanted to match a specific baby pink for the box, so we printed out of CMYK, put a soft touch laminate on top of it, and then added a couple of embellishments just to make it look a bit more interesting. Moving on from that, this is what we call raised ink. Apologies, I don't have a great example of this, but really what this is the same as clear ink, but it uses multi-layers of clear ink to give the book or finish a tactile surface. For anyone who remembers LPs, this is like kind of what they look like, and this created a really nice similar effect to an old LP. So we started looking around the market, and this is where we invested in the Scodix, which is an offline digital spot UV machine, which essentially allows us to be far more versatile in the way that we use the clear effects. Again, this one here, this is using the Scodix process, which is very similar to a spot UV. It's a little bit deeper. Zicky will probably fill you in detail on the technicalities of it. But really, this was a pre-production version of the book. So they wanted 6 copies of this produced in 24 hours. But they wanted to show their client what the end result was going to be. And really, by achieving this, was very, very similar to the spot UV. In many ways, the Scodix outperforms spot UV in that it works very well on uncoated materials, whereas traditional spot UV can actually struggle a bit. The other benefit, of course, is that we can proof it. Again, spot UV is a mechanical process, so really, once you've committed to the design and the style, there's no real turning back on that. This was a pitch document that we produced for someone, and this is using a combination of CMYK and white ink onto a holographic reflective mirror board. So what that is doing is obviously letting the base colour of the material show through, then we underpin all the colour with whites where they don't want it to be reflective, and then in any areas that we just put a CMYK tint on top of actually takes on a metallic effect. The tabs in this book were also done using the same process, and they were matte laminated just to give it a far more sort of subtle look. This is a piece that we produced recently, and to be perfectly honest, I can't think of any other way of producing this other than using digital print and Scodix. So what that is using a similar process to we showed you on this one, and then applying a tint where the horse is, and then using Scodix over the top of that. And it really does create a piece that, as I say, if you want to create some differential, there's no other process that you could use to produce that piece.
So here on this slide here, what we're doing is we're creating a spot white colour. It's just named white, and I'm using 100% cyan. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a spot colour. Can you go to the next slide? Sorry. So basically what I've done here is the separation previews. I've turned off the CMYK so we can just see the white layer, and I've made sure it's on overprint so that when we actually print it out, it's not actually knocking out the CMYK underneath. The Scodex for it, the Scodex is a different machine, so this is just a PDF page which we send down to the machine, and we just need to make sure that that again is in a spot colour for Scodex and spot colour for Scodex. That's it.
Yeah. And then another option is what we call a wrapped frame. So rather than using foam, we just use the same material as we do for the outer of the box and wrap a frame. So and that's a good option because A, it's very quick, and B, it doesn't involve a die. So these we can be very responsive in terms of turnaround, and it's quite flexible when the page count changes, or if the page count changes, I suppose I should say. We have a wide range of ribbons. We're often, and finishing touches, we're often asked to match the colour of a foil to a ribbon. We have a very good supply on that side. So this kind of just creates that nice finishing touch.
So on the computer we draw it up to size, and working from the inside outwards. So first we check the page count to work out the spine of the books, to work out the hole for the books to go in for the foam. Also with the video to make sure that that's going to fit in there, and all the components are going to fit into the top of it. Next thing what we need to do is brief production on it. And then also when we're working with card, we need to make sure that if we're using 3mm card, that when that butts up, what the inside measurements are compared to the outside measurements.
So once we're happy with our internal mock-up, the next thing we will do is supply the clients with templates.
What we're looking at here, this is just for the book. So they're going to be foiling on the spine of that. And there's the card there, the spine, and then there's also a gutter without the card in it so that we can make the hinges. This one here is for the top of the box, so that the centre of it there is the top. It's going to be foiled there and on the front, and also we print out a transparent of it to give to the foilers so they can make sure that positioning is correct.
Sort of traditionally, or out there in our marketplace, the most common form of video screen is just a pre-made unit. Launches with a magnetic launch. If there's more than one video, there can be button options across the bottom. But to be perfectly honest, in the pitch environment, we've started to find this quite limiting in that people want multiple videos, higher quality videos, and a little bit more interactivity. So we've actually started working with Android to give us a more flexible approach to the video element.
What we've done here is we've taken the back off the Android to slim it down. We can also move the battery, move the speakers, and extend the USB depending on where we need them to go in the box or in the book.
So that then gives you sort of touchscreen capability on the video. It gives it far more versatility in terms of the number of video screens that you can have, and we can start taking very big file types, very big file sizes, and keep the resolution up, and sound quality is better. And by doing what David just mentioned there, we can actually get these very slim now as well. So it works very, very nicely, incorporating it all into some form of packaging.
What we do is we actually lock it down, so we've only got the front menu here, which is in HTML5, and we make sure we have the buttons and the videos working accordingly. On the back end of it, here is the HTML5. We'll take care of that for you. If you give us a visual of the front end that you want and supply the videos, obviously we can give you the spec of the videos, but we'll put all that together and make sure that's working. We've got the artwork here, which is normally either InDesign or Illustrator, so we get the files ready and then we'll send them out. Normally by the next morning, we've got the blocks back. Got one here. So we get the blocks back, but really at this point, you know, there's not really any return. Yeah. We send the artwork out, same again, normally a vector file, and this is pretty much what we get back. And then obviously they'll put this onto the press, depending on what they're cutting. We prefer die cutting compared to laser cutting and the digital cutting, because we get a harder crease and we get a cleaner cut.
In terms of replica or creating metallic effects on digital print, we use two substrates. We use Miri board, which is a material that we buy that's got a metallic surface, but we also have a metallic laminate, and that gives us quite a lot of versatility in terms of the applications that we use for the metallic processes. You know, something like this is produced entirely digitally using a silver board. So the client has just used a tint of CMYK to create the gold. And again, this was 24-hour turnaround. It's duplex, so it's 700 gram. And to be honest, to try and create that using foil or a special on a litho process would cost an absolute fortune. Just to show very briefly how we can use the metallics in a book, sorry. So in this book here, what we've done is we laminated one side of the sheet with the metallic film. So then we printed a tint of CMYK. So that's just CMYK digital print. And because it's a laminate, the other side of that page is actually just standard paper. Now we have produced a swatch, because really what you need to know is how your metallic colours are going to print for you to be able to design with metallic colours. So this is a CMYK breakdown and the results we get off our press of all the metallic effects we can achieve. Obviously there's white ink behind here where it isn't. So there's the front section which is done on Miri board, and then there's another section which is done on the silver laminate, because it does give you a slightly different effect. When we hand these out, half of each square is then got the Scodix on, i.e. the glossed varnish, so you can then see the effect that has on it as well. And just for good measure at the back, we're now also printing on coloured laminate, so that's a black laminate, which is a soft touch laminate, which we can print on with clear or black, or even use CMYK on top of white, and that can give you a really nice effect as well. And that's it, so thank you very much.